is, well, welcome very much to the Quizlet webinar. It is 3 o'clock, so we are going to start this session to make sure that we finish on time. And I want to thank all of you for participating in the session today. I know it can be a busy day for many of us, but that's the main thing, that we are coming here to work with me and to learn about Quizlet. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Now, what I will do next is I'll go over the slides and navigation. This is usually how we go with our webinars. And then what I will do next after that is I'll try to go live and show you how the Quizlet actually works in actual setting. But to make sure that we understand the navigation a bit, that you can follow some of the steps with me, I have prepared the presentation slides that you will have access to after the session as well. So you will be able to retrace some of the information. So let's start off. And let me introduce myself. I know many of you who are joining in today, but I have seen some new names as well. So I want to say a special thank you to those of you who are joining us for the first time. We have been working and delivering webinars for many years now. So having you join us for the first time, it's a treat. Thank you for that. And thank you for everybody else who has been joining us for many years and coming back for more. We really appreciate that as well. My name is Monica. I work for Alpha Plus for over 15 years now, even longer than that, I think. Lately, I have been focusing on technology coaching, which allows me to go and work with different organizations, to consult with them, to help them out integrate technology. I also facilitate presentations and workshops, and I really like meeting new people, connecting with them, and if possible, sharing with them tech tips and resources and ideas. So I really enjoy webinars and sessions. I wish I could meet with everybody face to face. Of course, it's a bit different delivery method, but at the same time, I really am happy that we can do it this way at least, so that we can share the information and resources. When it comes to this session today, basic housekeeping tips, just to make sure you know how everything works and how the plan is going to work. Questions for attendees. I will have a few questions for you just to give me some ideas about your comfort level with Quizlet. Then we are going to explore the Quizlet, how it works, some of the features. I will show you some examples. And then I will share with you some links and resources that you can access after this session. And of course, as always, we will need to gather a bit of feedback from you and let you know about the upcoming webinars. But my main objective, as with all the webinars, is to show you a tool, and this time it's going to be Quizlet. So when it comes to the webinar housekeeping tips, just a few. Many of you are familiar now with GoToWebinar, but if you're not, just to make sure that you understand how everything is set up, on the left side where you see the slides, that's the webinar viewer. So you will see everything that I'm sharing with you on the screen. That way it will be easier for me to navigate between pages and actually take you to the Quizlet website. On the right side, you have your the dashboard or navigation tools or control panel. That's where you can check your audio. You can mute yourself if necessary. Your microphones are muted, but if you need to sometimes to unmute, you can also mute yourself. And the box for questions. And that's the basic and main way in which you can coordinate and contact with me, get in touch with me, because we are muting the microphones. There's also an option for you to raise a hand, and that way you can also get my attention, but question box is much better. If that control panel disappears, sort of hides somewhere and you can't find it, look for orange arrow. Sometimes it just gets hidden on the right side. And if to unopen it, just to click on the arrow and it will open up for you again. If you're worried about that, you can go to the view box and actually change the setting to uncheck the auto hide control panel, and it will not hide again. As I mentioned, you have access to audio as well. And for today's session, we are using microphones and speakers. I know many of you just listen into the session, which is fantastic. If that's easy for you, maybe at the same time you have a chance to take a bit of a break or maybe have lunch, that's great too. We are not using the telephone option. And as I mentioned, the question box is for you. That's a chance for you to comment, to provide questions, to provide feedback to me as we go along. And I really count on you participating a bit just to make the session a bit more interactive and to allow for you to share some of the information and resources as well, and to let us know how maybe you're using different tools or what may work or may not work for you. So that is a really important piece of the webinar as well. Just a reminder that I turn on the recording so that everybody else can access the session as well. That basically means that when I'm communicating with you and reading out questions, I may also mention your names, and that gets recorded. So I just want you to be aware of that as well. So next, what I would like to do is to ask you a few questions. And what I will do for that is I will launch something called a poll. And in the poll, we'll have 3 questions. The very first one is, do you use online activities with your students? And here we go. It's going to launch on your screen. And the only thing you need to do is select yes or no. I'm just going to wait for everybody to fill it out. The system will tell me when everybody participates. That's really good. And I can see that everybody participated. And I'm going to close the poll and show you the results. And the answer is yes, you do use online activities 100%. So everybody is doing that, which is fantastic. That's one of the goals for today because I'm trying to give you a tool that you may like and enjoy as well. So I'm going to hide those results and ask you another question. And that one is a bit different. This one actually asks you whether the activities you use online are resources that you find online, or is it something that you are using, that you develop as well. So this is just trying to figure out, do you use resources that you find online, or do you develop activities, or maybe use a combination as well? And just a few more votes before we can close. So just a few of you need to participate to let us know where you are. Again, this is just to clarify if you're using mostly resources you find online, or if you're using resources that you develop, or maybe a mix. I can see there's just a few more participants who didn't give us the answer yet. One more. Okay, we got it. Thank you so much. So I'm going to close the poll and share the results with you. So we have a few of you who use mostly resources you find online. There's nothing wrong with that. Keep that in mind. And 60% of you are using resources that you find online or create on your own. The reason I'm asking that question is to give me a bit of idea if you're used to developing your online resources on your own, if you have some of the tools you may be using already. And if you do, I would love to know what they are. That's why the question, okay? And the very last question that I want to ask, that one is very, very quick. It is to find out if you are using Quizlet, because you may be using Quizlet already. And if you're not using it, that's great because you're learning about it. But if you are, then I would count on you to share some of the information with us. But I can see that 100% of you have voted and you're not using Quizlet yet. So this is really exciting for me because I really, really like this tool. And I really hope that after we do a quick overview and after you try it out, you will enjoy the tool as well. So I'm going to move on to the actual presentation to share with you what Quizlet is, how it works, and how you could utilize it. So the basic idea of Quizlet is that it's an online tool that allows you to create study sets. And for study sets, what they basically mean is that different types of activities that you can use with the same content. And I'll go and explain how that works. But the way to define the Quizlet is that the study set could have flashcards, tests, and the games that allow the learners to make the learning fun. They're available online, and there's a mobile version of it as well. So they're available for iPhones and Androids. And they allow teachers to set up classes for their students and share activities with them. There's 2 ways to do it, and I'll share both ways. You could set up a class and actually have learners sign up for an account and access the class, or you can create activities and share a link to the activity, and the learners can just do activity online without having been signed up for the class or having to have an account. And I'll explain more of that as we go on. But the basic idea is that you create basic activities that you can share with your learners. I'm going to take you through a few examples because I want to show you the setup first, and then how the setup is used to utilize the different types of activities within Quizlet. So here's an example. What I did is I found an activity developed by somebody else. And in this case, this activity relates to driving. So the teacher or instructor went in and created an activity where they provide a term, for example, traffic signs, and then they provide a description, something that warns or tells you of danger for the very first sign, and then they can add an image. So they set up this activity from scratch using just 3 columns. There's a term, description, and picture. When they set up the activity can have 5 items, 6 items, 100 items. It's totally up to you as you set it up. But that's the information you need to put into the system. And when you put it in this case, this section I think has 11 items within the activity. That is set up, and what happens next is the system now takes this information and scrambles it to provide you different types of activities. So the information about driving, for example, allows you to do flashcards. So the teacher just put in the definition, the term, and the image, and now the Quizlet takes over and takes this information and creates flashcards for your students with the content added by the teacher. So in this case, there is the picture that came with the activity, there is the definition, and the student can just flip the card when they're doing it live and have the actual term that they're working with. So they can go to the flashcard to learn different terms, to learn different definitions. You will also notice that there is an icon for microphone. I will explain different features within it, but there is an automated way to speak out or read out what is written in the text. So the system actually reads it out as well. And you have different settings where you can have that audio on or off. You can change the motion, and then you can decide if you want to start with the term or the definition, or if you want to see both sides. So there is flexibility in how the flashcard is utilized. I'm going to do the second type of activity, which is learning. In this activity, again, the system takes the information that was input on the first page, and this time it's asking the student to listen and then to type the answer. So it provides the visual clue with the image, it provides the definition, and the student can write the answer. Again, on the left side, you will see that there is options, so you can see the term first, and then you can also play the audio. So there's different features that the Quizlet automatically adds to all the activities you create. The next one is a speller, and then in here, the student has to actually type what they hear. So the system reads the definition or reads the term, and the student writes the answer. The next one is the actual test. And in this case, the Quizlet will take all the questions that are set up or all the activities that are set up, and it will scramble them. So there will be some written questions, some multiple choice questions, matching, and you can decide what kind of questions are asked in the test, and then how the definition starts. Is it the term or definition, and what the student has to answer, and then how many questions are available in this test. What's great about this is that the student can do it online, or if you decide that you don't have access to the internet, you can also get a printed copy of it. So the system will set up the test for you and allows you to print it if the online access is not available. Or if you want to do it as a test in class, because you may want to keep it in the file for the students. Then there is a few other things that you can do as well. Another one is called scatter, which is almost like a game. So the system scrambles all the images that you have, the definition and the terms, and it asks you to overlap them, to kind of match them together to get the answers. And it measures the time. So it's like a game for students that they can play, again, learning in the process. And the final one is another game, which is called Gravity. And in this case, the student basically selects that he wants to play the game, get started. They can select the difficulty, easy, medium, or hard. They can start with a term, definition, or random. They click let's go. And the system starts dropping from the top different definitions, and they have to type the term. And they can play through it. If they are taking too long or they provide the wrong answer, the system will pop up another box in which it will say the answer was caution. So now you should type in this answer. So it's trying to guide you and help as well, because it's still a game. It's not a test. So it's trying to teach the student. So you can see that Quizlet takes this one activity with 9 or 10 or 11 terms, for example, and just quick definitions and images, and creates extra activities for the students to work on to actually learn as they go. So what I would like to do next is ask you a few questions and ask you to type the answers or feedback in the question box. And what I want to ask is, what features would you like to see in online activities for your students? Since you're using some of them online already, what is it that works for you? What doesn't? What would make them work if you could actually improve it? The reason I'm asking those questions, I'm trying to see if Quizlet may be the answer for you, or maybe already you have seen some of the features in the example I showed you that may work for you as well. So just take a few minutes and let me know what may work, what may not work, depending on the type of students you have or expectations as well. Don't be shy. Anyone? You all said that you're using online activities. If you are, what works for you? And if you are really enjoying some of the websites you go to or tools that you're using, share them as well. Okay, so we have some feedback. The tracking of the individual activities is difficult. Totally understand. So one of the features in Quizlet we'll go over is the ability for the students to have accounts. And if they are joining your class and the activities they're doing, the system will give you progress reports. So you will actually see how the students are scoring on different activities. And I'll show a bit of that as we go on. The other person said items with pictures in large print. Absolutely, it is very important to be able to do that. In Quizlet, I haven't really seen much option to adjust the size, but I think the browser will help a bit because you can change the settings in the browser. I know in Quizlet you can change the language, which is another tool that you may be interested in. Some of the users are using it to teach different languages or to help with different languages, and that may be a different feature that you may like. Clear language is very important. Thank you so much for that feedback. That's good. And I'm hearing that GCF Learn Free has audio and activities for learners, but would like more fill-in activities and or match up. Perfect. So that's a really, really good feedback, Angela. And I what I did for today, just to share some of the ideas of how I could use some of it, I'll take you through an activity that I found online. It's just a story. And I thought, okay, the story comes with 2 activities. That may not be enough for my student. I may want to do more. So what I did is I set up a quick activity on Quizlet to match or to go with the story for the learners. And I will share with you also that we have, as Alpha Plus works with different organizations. So this year we have encouraged a few of our organizations to try Quizlet. And some of the instructors are coming back very quickly telling us that they really enjoy it, mainly because it's very easy to use and they can enhance the learning they do with specific learners. So even if they work with students one-on-one, they can see when the students struggle and they can set up some quick activities for the students to practice specific things they struggle with. So that was the feedback we received on it. Okay. And I heard that some participants have used video and listening exercises. That's perfect. That is really important. The resources need to be adult oriented. Absolutely. Activities that can help lower level learners would be great so that they can be more confident. Absolutely, 100%. So the idea here is that you decide and you know the level of the learners. You know what may and may not work for them. And the fact that you can customize Quizlet to the needs of your learner, I think can play a big role in actually doing something or providing something for them that will specifically mean a lot to them, because it may be simple, it may be specific topic they're concentrating on. The simplicity or the access may be important. There's so many things we need to look at. And then there's a feedback in looking at Quizlet before, I didn't see the ability to change font formats, bold, italics, underlining. I don't think you can. I think it's one of the features that you may not be able to. But you could change the size in the browser. So that's the only thing I am thinking of. So how, the fonts in the browser can be increased. I think that can allow you to make the content a bit bigger. But bold and italics, no, because it just doesn't seem to have that option. So the other feedback is as well as creating math questions with multiple choice answers. Math symbols not available. Absolutely. So here we will go over the idea, the fact, and I will take you live to show you how Quizlet works. We can try and see if we can find symbols. And if you can find them, there is a quick update or upgrade to the account that you can do. It costs $24.99 US for a year to upgrade the account. And if you do that, that allows you to upload your own images. So if you can find images that they provide, maybe you can upgrade and use that. But there's a lot of math activities that you will find there as well. And then another one, keeping score, rights and wrongs. Absolutely. That is very important. And again, depending on your setup and your comfort level with your students, if they can set up accounts, that's perfect because the system will keep track of that. Okay, really, really good feedback. Thank you for all that. I really appreciate it because that helps me a bit more in understanding what will be valuable to you. So I'm going to start with pricing because I really think that's important for you to know to start off with. And keep in mind, basic account for Quizlet is free. And when you set up the account, there is an option for you to set it up as a teacher or a student, but they look very, very similar overall. You just log in, you can use different login options, and I'll show you that. But when you upgrade to the teacher account, so basically basic account will have a lot of features, but not everything. The teacher access with $24.99 US per year will give you class progress, and I know some of you mentioned that's important to you. You can use voice recording. So there's a difference between voice recordings. The activities themselves, when you put in the term or definition, Quizlet will read it out for you. But you may not like the accent, you may not like the voice or tone. When you have the teacher account, you can record your own voice over it, or you can have your students record your voice. And that allows you to customize it to the needs of the student. You can upload your own images when you have the premium account, and you can create unlimited classes. To be honest with you, I used a basic account. I know I could create at least 2. I don't know what the limit is, but at least 2 I was able to create. You can also see a teacher badge next to your username. What that means is that you can see if the person creating the activity was a teacher or a student or administrator, for example. There's some support you can receive when you have a teacher account, and then students won't see ads on the sets you create. If you have a free account, there's a small ad on the right side of the screen that shows up. Again, I have used the Quizlet for a while, haven't bothered me, but it's something that if it bothers you, you can of course get rid of it as well. Okay, so that's pricing. And now I'm going to take you through some steps and some screen captures just so that you can get familiar a bit with the view. I may go a bit fast just because there's a lot of content to cover, but I will also try to go back into Quizlet and revisit some of those sections again on a live side. So apologies for doing it twice, but I know that sometimes if you see it a few times, it's a bit easier to actually understand what I'm talking about. So the very first thing when it comes to creating an account, you should keep in mind that if you have students or you who are using Gmail accounts, you can sign up with Google. The system collaborates, and then you can use one username and password for both. You can also sign up with Facebook, or you can create your own account. And there is information that they ask for birthday. Up to you if you want to provide your real birthday or not. But they ask because this is school-based, so they want to have some idea of how old the students are or how young they are as well. So you will fill out this information depending how you will want to sign in, and then you will get into your account. Very first thing you will see is when you get into Quizlet, you will get into something called latest activity. It's basically a screen that gives you some information of what you can do with the account and then what you have done in the past hour. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of navigation. Keep in mind, this is just screen captures for now. So logo on the left, every time you click on it, takes you to the latest activity page. There's a searching option, and then there's creating a study set. We'll do that next. Then there's, of course, the ad for upgrading to a teacher, but I'm showing you everything with just basic account, not a teacher account. My login information with my picture. I can upload my own picture if I want to as well. On the left side, you will see that you can see again latest activity. You can go to the study sets you have created, and then you can navigate through your settings. It reminds you that this Quizlet is available as a mobile app as well. Keep in mind, the mobile app, you can only do activities. You cannot create activities on mobile devices. So basically, you'll be able to access them and work on them, but you cannot create new ones. You can create them only on a computer. And then there will be some promos. So we'll go over Quizlet Live very soon, actually at the end of the session. But there will be different tips that the system is trying to do. Do you want to create an image set? For that, you will have to pay, because if you want to upload your images, there's a fee, which is the upgrade to the teacher account. But you can also create folders, and then there's teacher content. And I'll take you through all that as we go. Just very at the bottom, at the last activity I did was the driving words. It's the ones I was showing you as an example. So the system keeps that in my record so I can go back to it. And what I like about the system is it tells me who created it. So if this was a live session, this user or this creator of the activity would be a live link, and I could go and see all the other activities that this user created. And if I like them, I can actually copy them, repurpose them if I want to as well. So it is a place for you not only to create activities, but also to find activities created by others and repurpose them. Fantastic tool. We'll go over that. So I'll take you through some of the basic steps. Creating a study set is very easy. So you click Create a Study Set button, and then it will ask you to give it a title. What's the term? And again, you can choose the language. What's the definition? You can choose the language. And as soon as you put the term and you click on the image icon, it will give you choices and options that will work with that specific term. And then the other option here I want to point out is the visible to everyone and editable. I'm going to go to the next page to show you what that means. So if I click on the change, this box opens up. And in this box, as a teacher, you can select if this activity or this set is available to everyone, or specific classes that you are managing, or people with a password, and it will provide you the password if that's important to you, or just you. So you can control who has access to it. Also, you can control who can edit it. Is it people in specific class that may be able to come in? Is it people with passwords? So for example, another teacher, if you want to, or just you. So all those options are available to you when you're creating a study set. Most of the teachers leave it open to everyone. They don't mind because then you can repurpose it and they want to do that as well. But I just wanted to show you that you can still make the changes if necessary as well. Okay? So let me move on because that's where I want to show you the example I did. So on English Express website, I found this story called Spring is Coming. It's a very short story. And in the story, they mentioned different plants and different text. So what I did is I used the same text that was used in the story to create a bit of an activity. You will notice I just put in the terms. And so I have blossoms, tulips, dandelions. I don't have a definition, but I only have the picture. And what was amazing is that when I put in blossoms, for example, and I clicked on the picture icon to add an image, it will give me a list of 6 or 7 images I could choose. I just click select, it adds it in. I put tulips, shows me options for images, I put it in. I could add other information. I could say tulips, maybe definition could be something that grows from bulbs. It all depends on the level of your student, how difficult or how much text you want to put in. You can leave it just picture and text just for basic activities, or you can really put in definitions if the reading level is much higher. So this is totally up to you. So I went in and created this study set with there's 6 actual terms and 6 pictures that go with it. And after I created that, what the system said, okay, I click create, and the system tells me, okay, now we want to tell you how you can share it. And there's different options for you to share it. You can share it by Facebook or Twitter. You can add it to the class that you may want to manage. And what the class basically means is, for example, you may have LBS class, or you may have math class, or you may have level 1 reading class. Whatever your class is or group that you're working with, you can create different classes for that. Or you can add it to a folder if you want to have folder with different sets. It's totally up to you. The last option, though, is that you can also get a link to the activity. And what that means is that I can copy this link and give it to anyone to access the actual activity. What I'm going to do is I'll take that link and I'll show you live what that means. Just bear with me for 1 minute. So here it is. Here's the activity I created. All the words that I put in. So the term and the pictures are at the bottom. They're showing up right there. They come in. I can come in and listen to them. I can mark them if I want to. I mentioned that there will be ads. There will be on the right side, just small ones, nothing really big. But what basically it means is that I created 6 terms or 6 activities or however you want to call it. And now anyone coming into here can play with it. So I can do flashcards. I can have the picture of the robin and I can flip the card. It shows the text and you may not have heard it, but actually it read out robins. You can turn off the audio if you want, but I had it on. And then you can go to the next one, crocuses. Again, I can play with it. And the next one, and then just continue like that. So the students can come in and use the activity I created by just playing with different types of games. The next one is learn, where they can come in and then now they have to write the answer. The next one is speller, where they can hear the word and now they have to type it in. The system tells the word and now you have to type it in. So again, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but in my speakers, it actually plays dandelions and the students will have to type. Depending on their skill level, it may still be too difficult. So it depends on the learner, how much they can do on this, but you can customize it. You can make it very simple. Then there is a test. So the system takes all this information I input, picture and text, and then the student will just have to answer that. And as I mentioned, you can print it. So there is an option to print. It will go to the print mode with the sheet you can print out. And then the scatter would be the activity where you can basically play the game by dragging the text onto the tulips and you are timed. So you're trying to do it as soon as possible. And as soon as I put it in, everything disappears. So their game is over. Students love it, right? This is very quick for them and they can play again, and try and play. The gravity is the last game where the words will be coming down. So get started. I'm going to try to make it easy. Let's go. Start game. And now it's coming in and I have to type in the word that comes with the picture. So I will type in tulips. Okay, perfect. Another one is going to come. And the student, this is easy, so it's much slower. The student has more time to take a look and actually type the answer. If I don't get it, the image will fall. The system may try to help the student as well. So I want to wait and see what happens. So the robin went down, I didn't do it. The crocuses is coming down. And nothing is happening. And now you will see that I didn't act on it. So the system says, well, it should have been robins. So now come in and type robins. And it will try to guide and help the students. What do you think so far? Any feedback in the question box? I'm just going to check. Let me know if there's anything you would like to comment on or provide some feedback. Okay, so crocuses again. And so on. So this is the activity by me going in, putting it 6 terms, 6 pictures, and saving it. That was it. And now the students have some work and some activities they can work with. Okay, so coming back to the presentation, I hope that was a bit useful for you to see the activity, how it was created. What I want to do next is take you through a few more information on how this information is displayed and what other features are available. One of the very interesting ones is the class progress, and we talked about that. So if the students had access to this activity and they were logged in, every time they will do the activity, the system would keep score of their progress. This is available only as a teacher option, so you have to upgrade the account to get access to it. But if it's important to you, $25 US will be, let's say, $35, $40 Canadian per year. It may be a valuable investment if you can secure funding for that, because it is something that will save you time and resources. You can go and see the score, you can see the username, you can see all the information, and you can track it. So that's something that may be valuable to you. So if you actually had the account and students registered, they go to the activity, you can click class progress, and the system, as I mentioned, would upgrade everything. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that this is not only something where you create the activities. You can find activities created by others. There's thousands of them. Some of them are amazing, some of them are not as good. But if you're looking for a specific activity, before you create one, search and see what's available out there, because there's many, many of them. And as I mentioned, you can copy them, share them, and use them in any way you want. Let me show you. So when I went to the search box, I looked for the word vocabulary, just a basic word. I know you may be looking for sight words, you may be looking for math, specific things that will be relate to you and your students. So when I typed in vocabulary, I had 39 items coming in from this person. So she's a teacher, all teachers, creating different activities. And this is the first one that came up. What I can do next is I can click on the title of that activity, and it will take me and open the activity so I can right away see what it's set up as. So for example, there's black, and then there's that Spanish, I think, that they're using for this one. And again, you can copy. So you can duplicate this activity for yourself and make changes to it if you need to. You can add it to your class. I'll explain how classes work a bit later. You can add it to a folder. So if it's a student, the student could add it to a folder for themselves to practice on later on. You can share it, you can print it, and there's actually even more features for that, which is amazing because you can even scramble different activities. So it's unbelievable. But you can use all that. So you don't have to be the only person creating the activities. You can repurpose content from others. And now that we know we can find activities from others, we can create our own activities, let's talk about classes. So the classes will come from the idea of high school or college where you have a teacher and they have a class. Similar idea here, this activity or this tool, Quizlet, was actually developed by students themselves. They were missing activities, they wanted to have more access, so they developed the tool. And now teachers and students work together on using it and developing more content. So the classes here work in a very interesting way. You can join or create a class. If you're a teacher, you will create a class. If you are a student, you can join a class. So it's a very nice way to look at it. And in my case, what I did is I just created something called Alpha Plus class, AP class. So it could be any way you can think about it. It could be even types of activities you may want to create because it doesn't have to be really a class. It could be numeracy, it could be citizenship, it could be driving, it could be all kinds of different classes or groups or settings that you can set up for yourself. But what that means is that now, let's say we have Alpha Plus class, or it could be LBS class that you create. You would go and give it a name. You can add description if you want to, and then you allocate it to the school. What's interesting is that, for example, Alpha Plus is not a school. We are not affiliated with any school. But because it wasn't in the system, I was able to add one on my own. So there was no problem for me to create in a class. And after I created the class, the system knew it was, my school is Alpha Plus because that's what I added in. It's in Toronto, Canada. And if I added activities, they will be showing it within that class. And I had an option to add sets, so create more activities, or add members. And when I click on add members, there is a possibility for me to invite members by email or username. So if they already have accounts, they can just give you the username, or you can put in an email address here and click send. Or the system gives you a link that you can share with your class, and the students follow this link and they all can sign up just by following this one account. So there's two options to join or to add members. I want to show you that if I selected an email and I send the email, Quizlet would send an email to the email address and basically will say that Quizlet user, you as a teacher, whoever is a teacher, invited you to study on Quizlet, and the student will simply have to click on go to Quizlet to accept. They click on that, they're taken to Quizlet, and they're just asked to set up an account or log in, depending if they have an account or not. And after that student is added, what happens is in the Alpha Plus class, now there are two members, me as the actual administrator or teacher, and the students that are coming in. And the system even tells you if the students are online or not by giving you the green dot. So again, a very interesting way to see the students as well. Now let me move on. I apologize for that. I forgot to turn off my notifications on the computer. Apologies for that. So another thing that I wanted to really highlight is the folders. The students themselves could find activities on Quizlet and save them to folders to practice. You could suggest activities for them, and also they could save them to folders to practice. So folders is another way for you or the students to manage and save different activities. So what I want to do very quickly is to take you to Quizlet and see if I can set up one activity with you. Please keep in mind, I'm going to keep it very simple, nothing complicated because we really don't have much time for it. You will have options to try things on your own, but I thought just for today, we can practice vocabulary with colors. So black, white, whatever colors we decide. So what I'm going to do next, it's just going to take a few seconds. I'm going to go to Quizlet, and it should pop up on your screen. I was already logged in to make things a bit easier, and now I'm in this screen that looks slightly busy for now, but that's okay. The only thing I need to know is that I want to create a set. So I'm just going to click Create a Study Set, and it's taking me to a section where I need the title. So I'm just going to say Colors, and I can type White. The definition is totally up to me if I want to add it or not. Maybe I'll skip it for now, but I can click on the image. And notice that because white is already here, I was testing it earlier, the image is in blue. So this icon tells me, oh, you could add images. And the system is going to tell me, oh, these are some of the images you can add. So maybe the white dog would be nice. Let's put in red and then just tap. As soon as I put red, again, the icon shows up, and now I can select an image that I may like. So I'm just going to put this one. And I can continue adding more and more until I get to the point where I'm happy with actual activity. So let me just click on plus and add a few more. Plus. So let's go. This is yes, so this is English. White, red, blue. And if I click on the icon, it will pop up different colors and so on. So this is a very basic one, but you can see how quick it is for me to add the activities. Icon for green, here we go. What other color can I have? Yellow, okay. I can here, if I want a definition, I can say color of the sun, for example, or color of the grass, and so on. So you can decide how you would want to define it if you wanted to. So here we go. This is English and yellow. Here we go. So I added 5 different colors. You could choose if it's more or less. Color of water. I'm going to add all of them. Color of lips. And color of dog. Just for now. I set up everything like that. Click create, and my set is done. The system asks me, how do you want to share it? So I can have this link and share that link with the students if I want to. But in this case, it's not going to get tracked because it's just a link to a specific activity. The students are not logged in. They don't know where to go. I can also add it to class. And the system remembers that I set up Alpha Plus class, so I can add it here. But if I wanted to create a new class, I can create a new class as well. So as you're building and adding new content and you decide, well, you know what, I did one for English, but maybe I should do another one for math. Maybe you could create another class for that if you want to. You can. It's very easy to do. You just add class name, description, school, which will be Alpha Plus at this point, and you continue. And from now, this time on, the activity already exists. Colors, it tells the system, says who created that, and then all the other activities, so the study sets and play sets are already available. So if I click on flashcards, the system takes the picture and the definition, and I can flip and see the color, right? And I just continue using the arrows to go to the next one. Again, I flip, and so on. So this is for studying. So this is how I'm learning. And then later on, I can move on to the other activities or games if I want to continue. What do you think? Any feedback? I'm going to just wait in the question box to see if there is any feedback, any comments so far. Let me know. Would it work for any of you? Do you think it's something you would like to try or not? And if not, I will also want to know why. Let me know. Okay, so very clear. Sounds good. Angela thinks it could be very useful. Absolutely. So I really encourage you to try it and see how it works. I'm not done yet, though. There is more I want to share with you. So give me a bit more time. But please let me know. Give me feedback how this is going. If you see issues, let me know what or how. Sometimes it's just clarifying different things. and trying it out. That's the main thing. Try it out. As I mentioned earlier, just to catch up on the mobile apps, it is available as a mobile device for iPads and for Androids. Keep in mind that it is only for activities. You cannot create activities on the app. You can only practice. But if you have students in a class that may need some supplement activities, you can take them to an activity and they can work on it directly in the class or after class or even at home if they want to. There's also a beta version of Quizlet, which it's something very, very new. I just noticed that yesterday. I haven't seen it just a few weeks ago, so this is very new. If you are familiar with a few other types of games, like Kahoot, and there's another one, those are the games where you can engage with students by displaying something on the screen, a whiteboard, or through a projector. And students use their mobile devices, whether tablets or phones, to join live, and they can vote or they can answer questions. So it's a very interactive way to work with the students. And what Quizlet is testing right now, it's in a beta mode. They're testing this with Quizlet. So you can take any activity that you find online, and there will be a button on the left that says go live. It will give you a number. So you tell your students, go to this address, quizlet.live, and put in the code, and then the students will add their names, and then they can work on the activities together, and everything is displayed on the screen, so they're really enjoying and playing together. They love it. Very, very new, but again, worth trying out if you want to with your students. If you go to Quizlet website, they have a very, very informative video about that. They show this in action, so you can also see how it works and consider if that's something you would like to try live. Okay? The next thing I would like to do is show you additional resources. And I will just go to the end of the slides, almost to the end. I will hold off with the feedback. And I'll go back again to the Quizlet just to navigate a bit in the live website. But I just want to make sure that you know that when you go to Quizlet, their help section is huge and it's very, very specific. I just took a screen capture of the help center from the basics to the actual study tools to the study sets. They are very clear and explain everything step by step. So it's very useful if you get stuck or if you need more information. That will be practical and useful for you as well. So now that we know that, will be the feedback. I'll come back to this by the end of the session. We do have a bit more time left, so I just want to come back to the live site. I do hope it's not jumping too much for you, that you can follow okay, because I want to go back and show you that. Again, if I just click on Quizlet, it will take me back to my activity page. There are different advertisings. You can skip that. This is just for you to tell you what you can do. But I want to search. I want to show you how you can search for different things. Let's say I'm going to say division as potential activity. And if there's one you want me to try and search, just put it in the question box and I will search for it as well. But here we are. I put in division. And you will see, again, results from many different teachers and users. And you can preview them as I'm moving my mouse. The system is just showing it. So for example, this one is a fairly simple one for students that they can come in and practice with. And if I like it, I can click on it. It takes me right into it. And now I can look at it even closer. And if I want, I can check the flashcards. So I can flip, because this is technically starting with the definition and then there's the term, but you can flip it. I can say, no, I want to start with the term and then see the answer, right? So you can show both sides. You can decide how this is going to be displayed as well. And the students can decide too when they're coming here. So you can help them out, but they can practice and they can learn. So this is learning, and then spelling and everything. You go through all those tests, but again, they can practice so many different things with that. I'm going to go back to the division because that's the activities. That's where they're studying and playing. This is the live version when we can go live with all the students. And as a teacher, if you found this and you love it, like, yes, I like this. I want to add it for myself so that I can repurpose it. It's as simple as saying, okay, do I just want to copy because maybe you want to make changes to it? Or do I just add it to the class? And again, as I mentioned, I can add it to the class I already have, or I can create a class. And in this one, I'm going to say math. I don't need a description. Allow your students to add study sets and new members. No, I don't want that because that will give them some freedom in managing this. I don't want to. And then for school, I can start typing. And let's see if it's going to find it. It did, because I added it last time I was creating the account. So even if you're not a school, if you're a community program, you just add it in and it will take it. It will take it as a school. And you create a class. And now it's sitting in the math class. So it took me to the class. It's called math. And in that math, there's division with 43 terms. And I can go and find other activities through searching and adding them into my account, or I can create them from scratch. So that's how you can create and add classes. And when it comes to members, I just want to revisit that as well. I click add members and I can add students' email. I'm going to use my email. I know it's going to be displayed, but that's okay. Here we go. So this is the email I'm going to use. I'm going to say send, and the invite was sent. It's going to get into my inbox. As soon as I get it, I click on the link and I can now see this activity. And if I work on that activity, the system tracks it. So that's the nice thing. That's the nice feature. You can also invite students in bulk, automatic join link, and then link with Google Classroom. So you know how at the beginning we were saying you can sign up with a Google account? One of the interesting things that starts happening more and more is the Google for Education. So you may have heard of it. Some of you may be already using it. Google for Education is available for school boards, for colleges, universities. The community programs will struggle with getting that type of account, but those programs can get something called Google for Nonprofits. And in Google for Nonprofits, when you go to the specific apps, you will see that the classroom is not activated automatically, but can be enabled. And basically, when you set up Google for Nonprofits, you also have the classroom. So now imagine a setting where you are using Google for education or nonprofits with your students. So you have a class there, and they have their own accounts that they can come in and work with you. They can send you emails, they can save files, they can do all this work. Plus, they have access to Quizlet because it's integrated. You saw that we could actually link it with the Google Classroom. So it is really built on the idea that it tries to help students, to connect the students and teachers and make sure that it helps you. There are some features, of course, that may be even better. As you mentioned, potentially changing the fonts, bolding, italics, some of the features may be useful. I actually missed one where I would like to see a section for notes, where, for example, when I was using the English Express, I would like to be able to put a link and say to students, go review this activity first or this story first, and then come here and do the activities on Quizlet. So that's just a different way for me to look at how the tools can work together. But nothing stops me from creating a separate page or even a handout or something online where I can tell students, go to this story first, read it, and then go to Quizlet. It could be a simple link that takes them to the activity. So there's different ways to combine it, but I was missing the notes. I would like to see notes somewhere. Even as a teacher, when you create activities, sometimes you make assumptions. So having a note, for example, that would say this activity will be suitable for beginner learners or for students with specific skills, that type of note section will be very useful for me. Anything else that you have seen that you may like to be added to it? Because I think we can send feedback as well and suggestions to the developers and see if they would be interested. What do you think? Any other feedback on the Quizlet? Is there any section that I missed that you would like me to try or show you live, or that may be something you will try later on? Just quick notes. I just want to wrap up and go to the feedback to make sure that everybody has a chance to finish the session with me today. Can you upload mini videos or links to them? There is an option to import something, but I haven't tried the videos. No, I don't know, but that's a very good question. I'm going to make a note and see if I can find out. There may be an option to put a link in the definition, but I'm not 100% sure. It's a very good question. I will follow up. Hopefully I will find out today and send it as a follow-up email or tomorrow. But I will follow up and check on that. Very, very good question. Any other questions? Nothing so far. The questions are open. Please send them in at any time. There's another one. Do students need internet access at all times, or can they download the quiz? Well, that's the thing. The activities are online, so you have to have internet access to access them. If you want to, the only thing you can download is really the test as a printable format. Everything else is really sort of designed to be online. But the test or quiz, as you call it, yes, that can be printed and then distributed to the learners. But everything else is designed to be an online activity. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is just move on to the actual feedback. I'll post the link to the feedback. I'll just copy it from here. So bear with me for 1 minute. And I need to give you the link. I'm putting it in your question box, so it should pop up in your question box. There should be a link that you will have access to. That will take you to a different website where you can provide feedback on the session today. And the last thing I just want to mention is that after this session, I will share the recording with you in a follow-up email, link to the slides, and we will have more webinars coming up. There will be new topics that we are working on, preparing as we go. This year, we will do the Tech Tuesdays every second Tuesday of a month. And the way we are delivering them is that all of our team members will be involved. So it's not only me doing webinars this year, there will be actually other participants who will be presenting. Some of our colleagues from Alpha Plus, such as Maria, Matthias, and Guylaine, they will be also delivering webinars. If you want to know more, just visit our website, webinars.alphaplus.ca, or click on the scheduled or training and then webinar schedule. You will see what's coming up in the coming months. Not all the links for registrations are ready yet, but we are working on them, and then we'll be adding them as we go. And this year we try to pick topics that we heard you may be interested in, you may enjoy. So we encourage you to join us again and learn different things as well. And I'm going to wrap up now, and thank you for spending this hour with me and exploring Quizlet. I would love to see if you're trying it out and if it works for you. If you develop different activities, just shoot me a quick email, let me know, and share the link with me. I would love to see what's happening. As I mentioned, some of the instructors we worked with who tried it really liked it. They went for the teacher options because of the progress and ability to add additional images to make things a bit more clear. And they love it. So some of them have 30, 40 activities that they already created and have students going in and working on. So it was a big success for them, and I hope it's going to be a big success for you as well. So thank you again. I'm going to stay around for a few more minutes to answer any questions. I'm inviting you to do the survey. Let me know how we did today and how we can improve. And if you're done or if you need to run, thank you again and goodbye. So I'm not leaving. I will be here for a few more minutes. Use the question box to let me know how we did. Use the feedback to allow us to gather that feedback also for the organization. But if there's any other questions or clarifications, please let me know and I will answer now. Or as I mentioned, if I don't know now, I will follow up with the email and other feedback. Thank you. Yes, Vicky, just a question about the recording. I was just going to go and turn off the recording.